everybody, this is Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. I am your host, Tristan. Join me, as always, is my co-host, partner, Hassan. It's Hassan. I had a weird flashback to when I maybe have done a different show with a different person. Yeah.
Were you having an affair on me?
Like 10 years ago, yeah. And technically speaking, the person was part of the podcast at the time. We just had a side hustle.
I believe the term is called a throuple, Tristan.
No. This. Well, okay, yeah, kind of. No, we had kind of a side hustle, sweetheart. And effectively we reviewed Zootopia, then did it again, and then again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I watched Zootopia, the first movie, I think around 30 times. So to say the least, that I know that movie at the back, like the back of my heart, back of my hand, is yeah, a whole thing. Anyway, I'm glad we're not talking about Zootopia though. So look, that's my part of my past, and I don't want to bring that back up. But I had kind of a weird flashback. So yeah, what?
They made a sequel to it. They made Zootopia 2. And we're here to talk about it.
No, that is not true until I go and check the title card and motherfucker.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're here to talk about it, Tristan.
Okay. All right. Good news is Zootopia 2 exists. All right, how many goat butts are in this one?
And
how much jiggle physics are involved in said goat asses?
Goats,
okay.
Not really much in the way of butts, from what I recall.
Okay, any like jiggly physics on the goat butts and/or thighs?
No, not recalling that.
Okay. If I were to point out that, what's his name? Rapper, I think his name is. He's the guy that that Alan Tudyk voices in the first one, and he's a scalper, and he's the guy that Judy chases, and she gets into trouble because she destroys like Mouseville or whatever. If I point out that at one point he actually clips through the environment a bit. Is that anything? Is that in this movie?
I could be. I wasn't paying that close attention.
You weren't paying the song. Oh, okay. I gotta put their ground rules. If you are going to watch Zootopia 2, you have to nitpick this movie apart with the utmost discerning eye. I'm sorry, but I don't know if I can go on if you haven't done that. And I have.
So here's the thing, Tristan.
Yeah, what?
After I finished Zootopia 2,
yeah,
my initial feelings on it were just meh. That was a mediocre sequel. I don't particularly care for it. I thought the first one was better. But then there were things during it that irked me.
Okay.
But then I spent the next couple of weeks just ruminating on this film.
Mm-hmm.
And I have landed in a spot where I'm about to sound like the most cliche version of, what MAGA thinks of liberals and all that. Because where I have landed on this film is that I don't think it's intentional, but this film effectively serves as propaganda to completely remove any guilt or just feelings of regret or acceptance of responsibility, primarily for white people, though certainly I think you could project this on to others, but just around racism, just because of the way that this film is written, it just feels like the whole thing is meant to just be like, no, it's okay, that wasn't your fault or anybody else, that just a couple of bad people did a thing and you're innocent.
Hassan, brother, welcome to the revolution. Grab a t-shirt and a Molotov cocktail. We got shit to do. I actually have the exact same opinion on this movie.
I've gone from thinking this film was okay to just furious at its writing and portrayal of things, and just total. And I've made this point before that I think a lot of, media aimed at kids treats kids to like they can't, like, if you show them something serious that kids just can't handle it, or they just won't understand it, so just don't bother.
It 100% backtracked everything the first movie did. Everything. Like, the first movie was, and I'm going to say how you're saying in a second here, but like the first movie was effectively a very well put together buddy cop movie that talked about the trappings of government and how certain peoples in those governments will keep other peoples down for their own good, for their own sake of their ideals. And for their own gains. And that movie did not sugarcoat that. This one, oh boy!
Yeah, this one, crazy.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who doesn't know, the premise of Zootopia 2 is essentially, Zootopia, a city that previously was only for the mammals, a snake shows up, aghast, not reptiles. They're scary and bad, and we can't let them in the city. But Judy and Nick get tied up in trying to help Gary DeSnake, which I will admit, I really like that name. I think DeSnake as a last name is very funny.
Snake's all right, yeah.
Not a great character overall. I think very much underused and don't care for the way he's written. We'll get into it. But they get tied up in this thing of proving, hey, actually, the reptiles have been framed as bad guys and they're actually innocent, and we need to get this proof and everything will go back to normal. And we'll talk about all the problems with that. But to start with, for some reason, they've set Zootopia 2 1 week after Zootopia 1.
Yes. I fucking hate that decision.
Why is it so soon after? Yeah. That's insane.
It makes no sense. Because, like, okay, the conceit then is like, okay, you have Nick and Judy. So somehow Nick went through the academy in a week. That's not possible.
Well, now, hang on. Let's be clear. In certain parts of America, that would be possible. Jesus,
that is a good point.
It would be bad.
They're not making that point. They're not making that point, though. Like, Nick is not effectively an ICE officer where you're trained in an afternoon. Like, he went through in a week, technically. Less so, actually, is realized, because he went through the academy in a lightning fast situation where he is pushed then into immediate police work with Judy, and as per the first movie, we're doing traffic stops. Like, they were driving a cruiser and catching a hot pursuit vehicle driven by Flash. Now, if that is not canon, that's fine. But it's at the end of the movie. That is how it ends. It's canon. But what ends up happening here is that there's no way Nick is shoved through the academy that quickly. B, it degrades the amount of time and effort Judy put into going through the academy when Nick, somebody with very little athleticism and police know-how, goes through and just breezes through, apparently. And, like, is so good he just gets pushed to the front. Like,
now, the one thing I
what
will
the fuck?
say is the way that they word it is it's 1 week after Judy and Nick become partners.
Yes.
But it doesn't ever say that that's a like, well, by 1 week after, we mean, Nick was away for a year doing, training and going through the academy and all that. It just treats it as like
1 week later.
No, it's a week after those events. But like the other thing that's just so dumb is like, the problems with this movie and the way it handles,
numerous problems,
just various forms of bigotry, but primarily racism. The ideas that these citizens and people have gone from this idea of predators on one side, prey on the other, the two shall not mix.
Hey,
to like a week later, we've accepted it, everything is fine, and now also we're ready to start accepting reptiles. Insane. We
fixed racism over a week.
On
top of that, held an emergency election to get a different mayor.
Well, was he elected? I don't recall in the movie if they say that. I know he's the mayor, but they could have just.
I don't know if he's not appointed. Like that, they do have elections there. So, like the first one mentions that the mayor at that point was elected.
I just mean it could have been some weird thing of what do you call it? Like chain of succession, and maybe he just got it that way. Like
it's possible.
I don't know. I don't recall if they mentioned the word election for mayor.
Yeah, I can't remember. Like the first mayor though. Here's the thing: the first mayor didn't have to step down or anything. I don't remember him resigning or anything like that because he wasn't really involved.
Her, right?
Him. Bellwether was his assistant.
Oh, right. Yes, right.
She did the crimes. The mayor had nothing to do with it. He just
Brian is apparently their first name. Brian Wind Dancer.
Oh, for the new one,
voiced by Patrick Warburton. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the old mayor. Who cares? But
that was J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he's a lion. He was the first Predator mayor.
I remember it was a mayor, but I couldn't remember the reason. Yeah, but just like, and not only have they solved racism in a week, it's solved it, and just nobody talks about it anymore.
Yep. No. Hey,
that was the first thing for me in this film that just irked me immediately. Was wait, why is no one talking about this anymore? Still, that
there should still be
these things
signs,
don't just go away. The wounds and the wounds and scars don't just disappear immediately.
No,
it's insane.
Yeah, it again. If this had been like, hey, 1 year later, took Nick a year to get through the academy, the same that Judy did, kind of thing. And now they have been partners. If you then word it as we have been partners for a week, and then but there's obviously been a time jump after that. That'd be fine. That'd be one thing. Okay, within a year, there's a lot that can be accepted. I get that. There's so many splinter groups on both sides, but I think you can at least be okay, yeah, in an ideal world. Within a year, we don't totally fix this stuff, but we've worked towards it, and it's a lot better to a point where you don't see the seams as much, or at all in the second movie. So, yeah, the timeline is fucked. That's
but even a year, I think you could do that, but I think that would still be a disservice to the real world. It has been,
yes,
at
it would
this
be.
point,
I agree with that.
We're in Canada, right? Centuries of our governments mistreating the natives.
Yeah.
There are still reserves where clean water, difficult to get, education, very much underfunded.
Yep.
The term food desert would certainly apply, where trying to get access to fruits and vegetables, just a variety of reasons. And that is centuries at this point that they have had, rights granted to them and supposed to have been treated as equals. Yep. And so the fact that this film just treats it as if, oh, yeah, no, like they exposed the person was bad, so everybody just realizes that treating predators and prey as opposite was silly, and they just learned to embrace it. That.
God dang it. Well, I'm just going to be a better person from now on and treat everybody as equals.
Insane to me.
Yeah.
Insane. Cannot comprehend it. And it's not like kids can't comprehend, can't accept, can't watch something and enjoy it if you actually portray these things and say, hey, animosity and resentment and bigotry, those things will remain. I and this isn't, I'm not going to sit here and go like, oh, well, look at how Avatar The Last Airbender. Like, I'm not talking, things that are considered some of the, best children's media, right?
Oh, yeah.
You could take Harry Potter, and that repeatedly will show to kids that, oh, even after Voldemort's gone, there's still people throwing around the term mudblood. There's still people, wanting to kill muggles. These things don't go away. Recent shows like The Owl House, that clearly shows that hey, when the collector shows up, there are people who are willing to like join with him and serve him, or there are people who will take advantage of this situation and try and grasp power and maintain this idea of like, well, my family came from an important group, so obviously we should continue to be in charge. These are kids' shows similar to Zootopia, and they are more than willing to put that in front of children. And yet this movie's just like, no, I mean, we can't talk about that to kids anymore.
Kids are too sensitive. No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
What if this is more sort of like Bob Iger being like, just, I want to deflect my MAGA roots?
That's the thing. I don't think that this was Disney putting their thumb on the scale at all, is the thing. I think this was 100% just...
I think you're right, actually.
Poor writing from people who just weren't thinking through the optics or anything like that.
I think you're right. And I have some insights into that, because I looked into it a bit. This was written by the original 3 people who wrote the first Zootopia movie. However, they did not do the majority of the writing. That went to the staff who worked on the Zootopia Plus shorts. And those were hot trash. I've watched them. They're not good.
Yeah, I could see that, right? Where, hey, these are... Not to speak to the quality of the writers, but that I'm sure their goals that they were given in that were more about like, no, just make it a fun kind of, pop music-y thing to expand the Zootopia world. Just fun characters having a good time. People loved Clawhauser.
Yeah.
People loved him. I don't know. Do a thing with him again.
He's a fat cop with likes donuts and Shakira or Gazelle, I guess.
And it's
whatever.
Definitely not gay.
Definitely not gay. If you say he's gay, don't say gay. Thanks, Disney.
Yeah, but honestly, wouldn't be surprised, right? If those writers, I guess I'll rescind that. I wouldn't be shocked if, while Disney certainly didn't say like, oh, you need to take out the political commentary, you need to whitewash it, all that. I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of said, hey, we want to make sure it's still a fun movie, and so
that's at least that's
writers who perhaps would have less clout, less ability to write what they want, end up in this situation.
Makes sense.
To give them the benefit of the doubt, they might have wanted to address and talk about and handle all these things, but it's like, well, hey, I'm pretty sure if I put that in, I'll get pushback, and I don't have the tenure and ability to, be able to do what I want with this. I'm more of a, employee writer that it's not my project, so hey, I just have to do what I've done.
Fucking spineless, man. Like, here's the thing. Here's my opinion on this stuff. Is I've seen this kind of writing across the board, and this writing style it's emblematic of an employee style writer who is just kind of like doing what the company wants and just getting a paycheck, that kind of thing. And even if it's not, it's a writing style that like kind of lends itself to that reasoning behind it. But if you are a writer on a project and you really want to, if you believe in the project, you should at some point take the flack and go and fight for the thing that you want to happen in the project. Like, I'm not a corporate writer, of course, but like in corporations where I could make a decision that would benefit the overall project. And like, if I didn't bring up my shit, like that thing would have failed, and or would have been worse, whatever it was. I took flack for that stuff because like that's part of it. The boss can be like, we don't think so. Here's pushback. But if you push back on the pushback, that shows that you are willing to fight for the thing and produce a good project that people will actually like. Oh, it didn't matter with this one because it made billions of dollars.
Yeah, 9th highest grossing film of all time.
Yeah, fuck. It doesn't. But sure.
Speak about just
the goats, the beaver, the beaver.
Do they spend within the first 20 minutes making some very obvious allusions and hinting at, and at one scene basically outright implying Nick and Judy are into each other.
They're fucking.
And then it's just gone.
Yeah.
They just forget about that and I just pretend like, no, there was never anything remotely romantic between. They literally have a couples counseling scene with them 5 minutes in this film. Hey,
partners counseling, Hassan. Oh my God.
Partners counseling. Put that by, it's like the 20-minute mark, halfway through the gala.
Yeah.
Just they completely drop the idea. And what I don't understand is
the gala. The gala's a great.
What is the fear here?
The gala is a great thing to bring up because like there's a point where, they do the thing in the gala where they change into their like gala outfits, which is like Nick in a tux and Judy in a dress. And Judy comes into the car. I think she changes in. I can't remember what it is. It's car.
Van, I think.
Whatever it is. And like Nick is like flabbergasted because he thinks she looks great. And I'm like, okay, so we are doing something with this. And it's just like, oh no.
She basically flirts back too. Let's be clear.
Yes, she does. Yes. And it's like, okay, so we're doing something with this, right? And like, it's up at this point where, I kind of figured they would not do anything with this. I'm like, it's been up in the air since fucking 2016 whether or not they were actually a couple. Because at the end of Zootopia, they both say "I love you" to each other, but it's like, do you mean like a friend kind of way, like a partner kind of thing, like you're there for each other, or is it a lovers thing? We don't know, and there's been speculation for 10 years, and then it's like, oh, but now, yeah, we got a little more like, okay, the vibe here is that like, yeah, they're into each other, they're you know, they're dating and shit, like maybe, but then it's just like, it's especially when like Judy mentions that she never really goes over to Nick's place, but it's implied then that Nick goes over to Judy's place a lot, and it's like, what is happening here? Because at a certain point they drop that, and we don't get anything else about it, which is fine. I assumed that was going to be the case. I figured you would get like winks and nods and then nothing else. And we kind of did, but we got actually a little more than that, which means it was like on the table.
What I don't get is why it feels like they were afraid to have them be in a relationship. And I don't care either way which they go. I'm not standing their relationship or whatever you want to call it.
Couldn't care less.
I really don't care. Mm. But it just felt like a weird, like what it reminded me of is in Genshin Impact. That is a game that is very much afraid to actually put most characters in a relationship because it is catering towards a Asian audience where like much of their idols and such.
Oh yes.
They want the idea to be that you could imagine yourself.
You could obtain this person
to any of these, characters and people and what have you. And so if we canonically say, oh, this person's in a relationship or these two characters together, or whatever. Yeah. Well, now you can't do that. And so the way that game will hint at certain characters maybe liking each other, but never wanting to officially go any further than some very light flirting. That's what this felt like here. And it's why to me, it feels like, wait, why are you writing this as if you're afraid something's going to happen? Like, as if, if we do this, Zootopia 3 is going to crater because no one's going to want to come and see it because they'll be like, well, if I can't imagine myself dating Judy Hopps, why would I ever watch this film? That's not the case. Like, I just don't understand it.
Now that you put it out there, that's kind of the case because its biggest, Zootopia 2 was the biggest in China. Like, that's their main market at this point.
Yeah, but that is definitely not the reason.
Oh, and it's probably not, but at the same point, it's like it feels like it could be because, I mean, if your main audience, your main money source comes from overseas, and that's the way they kind of do things with their media, why wouldn't you cater towards that a little bit at least? Especially because. Now in North America, we are used to those aspects too, because that media has come over here with like Genshin Impact, K-pop stuff, Japanese pop idols, etc., which has those aspects, and we know about them. So it kind of feels.
But this is a kids' film. It's different, and I don't think that's the reason why. I
think you're right. But at the same time,
part of me is like, are they just worried it's going to be interpreted as mixed race dating? Is that the fear here? And I don't.
Bob Iger, everybody.
Again, I don't think that's what it is. Yeah. I have no idea why. It's so bizarre. Game back to the plot and the characters. So eventually Nick and Judy go to this gala. That's where they meet Gary DeSnake. It's where they learn eventually, what happened was way back when I forget what they were called. It's like the weather machines, basically the
weather engines like that.
Something like that. But basically,
the giant turbines.
The way that Zootopia is able to exist with all these different animals was thanks to the what was the name of the family again? They're a bunch of lynxes. Lynxley.
Lynxley. Was this Lynxley?
Yes.
Oh,
because it's so
right, sure.
Thanks to the Lynxleys and their invention, and then actually the Snake family was involved, but they got framed for this murder, and then because of this singular incident of a snake apparently committing this act, all reptiles were banished from Zootopia.
Yeah. Which
is another part of this film that just I just ruminated on and got angry about is at no point does the film acknowledge how insane that premise is of oh, well, because society was led to believe that a singular member of the reptile species committed this act, they all got banished. That is either one, a patently false thing, and that actually the racism and hatred towards reptiles was always there, and this was just an excuse, or two,
that
Zootopia is an insane societal mind hive where a singular instance by one member of a species can cause the entire species to be ejected. And I don't know which of those is more insane and worse.
It's probably the first one. That one's probably the actual answer. However, I can see arguments for the second one though. If they are like some sort of like, oh, this one person over here has committed a crime heinous enough, but also simple enough for us to go like, okay, everybody in their species is like that. Eject them, get them out of here. We want them nowhere near Zootopia. All of them. All of their species. Fuck the snakes, the turtles, reptiles, iguanas. Out of here. All of you. It's insane. It's truly insane.
We also get introduced to Paulbert Lynxley, who...
I hate Paulbert so much.
I don't dislike him as a character.
I hate him so much.
How obvious it was that he was just going to be a repeat of the sheep from the first film.
Yeah, he's Bellwether. Yeah, just a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Paulbert's the villain.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
Here's the thing. I was holding out hope because it was obvious that it wasn't going to be obvious. When Paulbert shows up and he's helping Gary the Snake, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and he pulls the mask off, and it's like, it's Paulbert helping him out. Like, oh, okay, we're doing something a little bit different. It's okay to make the villain the obvious villain, which is the father of the Lynxley family, and Paulbert actually wanting to help. But then the double twist is at the very end, near the very end, is that he actually is the one. He is the villain, but he's doing that to achieve his parents' love and affection because he's kind of the black sheep of the family. And I'm like, whatever, black links in the family. And I'm like, okay, it was handled very poorly in this movie. I think their better option would have been if Paulbert was still on the side of Gary the Snake. But then, like, at a certain point, there's like that twist of like, you know, he gets the MacGuffin, and it's like, okay, shit, if I just give this to my family, I'll be loved and accepted, and maybe I should do that. And then maybe he does. But then, like, if he had just shown that aspect, sure. But instead, he tries to kill everybody. He has a venom gun. Like, he has a...
Yeah.
He's injecting people with venom.
Or I think another way they could have handled him, and it's another thing I have a problem with on this film, is it does a very poor job of showing how in a world with racism, various groups and different people will use the dynamics of racism to their advantage. Like the thing about I've already forgotten his name. What was it? Pobbert?
Pobbert.
Yes, Pobbert Linksley. If they had used him to be, rather than say wanting his parents' affection, him just going, "Oh, I'm not racist towards the snakes, but if you undo this, I lose my cushy life."
Yeah.
And I care more about me and maintaining my cushy life than I do about helping these people, you know? Yeah. So you could just keep this quiet for me to be right. That would have been far more interesting. Or another thing is, so we know that reptiles as a whole, banished from Zootopia. That implies somewhere out there is a snake, just a reptile civilization, cities, country, nation, whatever it is.
It does imply that, yes, you're right.
That means that Zootopia has to have some sort of trade for it. But it also means that there would be reptiles looking to take advantage of that dynamic of racism.
Yeah.
And that was something it upset me in this movie is missing. So I was you know what, 1 second, I'm gonna go grab
something. Also, everybody, I'll talk to him in a second, but Pobbert is so there's a whole like horror movie thing with Pobbert. Oh, he's back. Okay. Before you do that, I need to bring up one thing about Pobbert that I really fucking hate. Okay, in this movie, they portray Bellwether as Hannibal Lecter when she's in prison.
Yes.
And at the end of this movie, for some reason, despite being like a mild-mannered kind of guy with like an interesting reasoning behind why he's doing the crimes, Pobbert is treated like Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Yeah.
The same scenery, same sweater, everything. Like, goes it the same way. They bring in the snow cat and destroy the maze from The Shining. It's all The Shining. And I'm like, why the fuck? And he goes like into like a berserk mode. Where's that coming from? It's just there because
he is poorly written.
He is. Go on. What's the book?
But yes, I got the book Brokering Servitude by Andrew Urban. It basically talks about racism, dynamics, all that. But reason why I had to grab it is one of the things it discusses was all about the Irish coming over to Anglo-North America.
Yep.
And how on the side of Ireland, there were people there who were telling primarily women that, oh, you know, you can go over to America and it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And you're going to find these great lives. And some people were helping. Some people were not, because they'd be like, oh, don't worry. You know, it's just a boat ride across the ocean and it'll cost 10 shillings or whatever. And I'll pay that for you. No problem. And you'll get there.
Yeah.
And then they get there and it's like, yeah, so you owe us 100 shillings. They're like, what? Like, that's not what, you know, Jack told me back in Ireland. And because what's happened is Jack's been like, oh, I'll cover your 10 shillings. Don't worry. And actually, basically what they've done is sold them into servitude, and he's pocketed 50 shillings.
Awesome.
And that is the thing that's just like completely missing I think primarily in the second film. The first film with Bellwether, you kind of see a little bit of that, but it's something I wish this film showed, was that the victims of racism themselves can take advantage, or sorry, like the victim race. There are people within it who will use that to their advantage, who will, you know, use this to gain profits, to gain power, whatever it is. If we think about when, you know, Chinese workers were coming to Anglo-North America, there were plenty of Chinese people themselves who were abusing their fellow Chinese to get rich and have power. And this film just...
Yeah.
It was when we get to the next scene when Nick and Judy find out, ooh, there's actually a secret reptile stead. And they get there, and just all of the reptiles are just kind of like downbeaten and just sort of, well, this is all we got. We're just eating our bugs. That's all we can do. It's the only life we can live. It's like, this is not what would happen.
No.
As you had hinted at earlier, there would be people protesting. There would be, you know,
let's make some bacon.
There would be across both sides, both reptiles as well as mammals, fighting for reptile rights. But also there would be reptiles who would be using this situation to their advantage. And that is just wholly and completely absent in this. And it goes back to, I feel like I'm a MAGA's version of a liberal ranting about some kid show where it's just like, it's just a kid show, don't worry about it. But I do think that the portrayal of racism here as this idea of, oh, well, the victims of it are just completely powerless and have no involvement in it at all, is a harmful message to put forward to kids, and makes it, to those who are subject to it and forced to live under it, feel like, well, what am I supposed? I can't do anything about it. I just have to wait until white saviors come along and liberate us.
You know, in a better world, this would have contained at least a wink and nod to Brennan Lee Mulligan's Laws or Threats speech. If not, just employ him and have him do the speech in Zootopia 2. Have you ever heard this?
No.
Okay, so it's from a Brennan Lee Mulligan is, at this point, I guess, considered the greatest DM of all time. Because he's DM'd for everybody and he's doing 2 different shows. He's on Dimension 20 for the Dropout TV crew. He made a character some years ago named Bud Cubby. Bud Cubby is a halfling in D&D. He's a post office worker, but he's a staunch communist rebel. And he says this: laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's exacted, and police are basically an occupying army. That's a big part of it. And then he says, and then of course he goes to the absurd aspects. And after he says that, you know, well, kids, do you want to, like, basically says, do you want to, be oppressed, or do you want to make some bacon? And he pulls a mask on and then throws a Molotov cocktail at some cops. So, but still, my point is, this movie is trying to sort of say that while still being a cop movie. This is the most both sides thing it could possibly be. So, like, you're saying, like, you feel like you feel like you feel crazy enough to basically be like, are you comparable now to a MAGA representative who are like, just like, oh, this is bullshit because of the woke liberal media majority kind of thing. But I'm like, there's a certain point where we do have to, effectively wake up to some of this stuff. And when a corporation like Disney feeds us this shoehorned shit to keep us complacent and to say, hey, we are on your side. Yeah, we definitely believe that oppressed peoples are out there and they deserve better. Thanks, Disney. What have you done to better that besides present me a movie where you're making a profit from it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Bob Iger sits on his fucking throne and gives money to Donald Trump every time he has a chance to.
No, he's stepping down from his throne, right? They've announced the next
doesn't matter
for him.
They did, yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's already done the damage.
Oh yeah.
So like, it doesn't fucking matter. Bob Iger can eat a sack of dicks. Basically, what I'm saying is, they, as a company, they sit there, and this is performative art to the highest extent. This is not performative art to what we agree with what performative art is. This is performative in what they're trying to do with their politics. They are not actually giving us anything of substance. The first movie said a lot more of this stuff that I'm trying to say.
Well, and speaking of Bob Iger, getting towards the end of this film is ultimately its message about racism ends up being that because we get a couple scenes between the Linksleys and Mayor Winddancer. Was that what I said his name was?
Brian Winddancer, yes.
A couple of scenes where he's sort of just this, like, they just tell him, oh, just shut up and do what we say. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that this film essentially puts forward with racism, is it's this idea of, oh, well, a handful of powerful people dictate the message, and the rest of the populace, they're just clueless, naive people who they trust the powers that be, and so of course they go along with it without realizing that they're racist. They're not meaning to be racist or bad people. They don't realize what's actually happening and what they're doing. And that is so false and wrong. Yes, generally speaking, a lot of racism is manipulated and propped up in the media by a small number of rich elites. That we can all agree on.
Yeah.
But the general mass are more than willing to eat that up and go along with it. If we look at anything throughout history, but for current times, if we look at MAGA and everything that is happening, there is a swath of the population, around 30%, that's just still willing to go along with the idea of build the wall, kick them all out. That's not people they just don't realize, oh, they're innocent. No, these are people choosing to engage in evil actions and support and prop up a tyrannical government. But this movie just, again, it wants to just absolve it of, oh, no, just you're innocent, couldn't have done anything. It's like,
you tried your best. We know you did a bad thing by voting for the wrong guy, but you at least tried. You realized the error of your ways, and you tried to correct.
It's more like you had no way of knowing he was evil or racist. You just. Look, the media told you this. That's how snakes are. Why wouldn't you think otherwise?
Exactly. Like, hey, the media said this one thing, and then you went like, yeah, and you really believed in that, and then it turns out the other thing's correct, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person for believing in those lies. You were lied to. It's not your fault. You couldn't like talk to somebody. Pick up a fucking book. No.
Yeah.
Media.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now should start wrapping up, but there's one last thing I want to touch on with this film, which is that Zootopia falls into a category of writing where I really don't think it's, meant to be this sort of like Game of Thrones world where
No.
it's meant to all
No.
it be logical, work together, and they've really thought about the politics of it all, and or not just politics, but like the interconnectedness of this world in these groups, right? From the outset, Zootopia's always had some weird, hey, the second you start poking at this stuff, it gets kind of weird. But I will say...
What if I told you that was the original case, that they actually had a lot more, like, it was actually propped up much better than it was now?
It's sure, I believe you. But
yeah.
One of the things I also have a problem with this second film is it just doesn't do anything to actually further establish the world and make any of it make sense. Like to my point earlier, all the snakes were banished. Reptiles. It's implied there's some sort of reptile nation, and so it's like, okay, so what's that like? Like, there's got to be some kind of trade. Yeah. There's got to be some sort of, political back and forth. Like, the two have to be in communication with each other.
Yeah. You'd imagine.
Okay, if there are police forces within Zootopia, are there armies? Do wars exist? Like,
it's kind of
so much of this world that's weird. And then also, so okay, mammals are sapient and human-like.
Mm-hmm.
Reptiles are now sapient human-like. The film ends on implying that birds are human and sapient-like.
Yeah.
Fish are not.
No, fuck
they
fish.
They eat fish.
And bugs.
That's weird.
Yes.
That's very weird that they eat fish.
Yes. It is very weird because there are... I mean, fish... Everything evolved from fish. Like... I don't know.
I'm not even thinking that. I'm just thinking, okay, as humans, we eat other animals.
Yeah.
But we mostly do that because we stand alone, right?
Yeah.
Sure, apes, other apes have intelligence, but they are magnitudes below us in terms of intelligence, cognitive abilities, all those things. And when you get down into things like chickens, cows, right? It's easy enough to understand why we, as humans, would look around and go, okay, but it's okay to eat these things because we view them as lesser.
Yeah.
In a world of Zootopia, there are hundreds of species of animals shown in this film.
Yep.
For them to be willing to eat this one just seems real weird, right? Like, if you had humans, cows, chicken, land, like all these things were also sapient species, but then we were still like, we're gonna eat fish.
Are fish not also sapient?
Real weird, difficult thing to be like, but what if fish becomes sapient one day?
I mean, okay, it's the same. Okay, it's the same thing with, like, nowadays. There's a lot of people like myself. I mean, I couldn't eat it anyway, but still, octopus is no go off the table because they've proven themselves to be like a pretty fucking intelligent creature. To a point where it's like, it feels a bit wrong to eat an octopus because they can tactically think as opposed to some other animals. Like, an octopus will do shit and solve puzzles and stuff. And we're at a point where, like, hey, you wouldn't need a parrot, wouldn't need a crow, all this stuff, unless you really, really had to. Same with octopus. And, like, there's a lot of animals out there that are like that we are now getting to that point of. But in Zootopia, that's whatever. It's whatever. Eat the octopus. Who cares? Fuck them.
I'd eat humans, so I've got no qualms about eating sapient beings.
You are. I don't think that you should say that on the podcast.
Yeah, I can't charge me. I'll never find the bodies.
Hey, go ahead.
But lastly, so it ends with, oh, birds. What?
Are we just going to make the same movie again?
Film
with
it can't be.
Okay.
It's got to be a reverse situation this time, right? It has to be the birds chose to leave because they consider themselves superior, and Zootopia 3 is about proving, no, birds are equal to the rest of us. We're all one. Because if it's a third film of
they can't do
racism that we kicked them out, I'm gonna lose my mind. They can't do that for a third time.
Can't do it a third time. I agree. First off, the second movie is already basically the first one to a high degree. You don't have to watch the second one at all. The first one exists as the same plot. Congratulations. Not the same, not totally the same, but close enough. Same ideas. If a third movie comes out, it's the exact same thing. And I'm like, look, at the very least, you have a well-known detective story that involves a bird. Could you at least adapt that a little bit? Instead of making the same fucking movie again.
The only film that has ever got away with that was 22 Jump Street.
They can do it.
That worked it because that acknowledged it. That just thrown it. Ice Cube just keeps going. It's the same goddamn mission again.
Across
just do what you did the first time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Instead of Mexican Jesus, it's Korean Jesus now. Yeah.
That film better be out sooner than Zootopia 2 was. 'Cause that gap was way too long. I mean, COVID was in there, yada yada. So
that's
some excuse. But they can't do a third one about, oh, we were racist towards birds.
Yeah.
At that point, you just kind of start to be like, hey, maybe nobody in this universe deserves us liking them because, wow, they're really all extremely racist. But also, it raised the question, what's Zootopia for then? Right? Are you then going to start? Because, obviously, there are more, right? There used to be the whole, I forget, I don't want to say kingdoms, but, it used to be there's just 5 types of animals: mammals, birds, reptiles, and was amphibians its own separate thing?
I think you're right, yeah.
Fish.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've done away with that because that's stupid. Or insects. Insects was in there.
Oh, yeah, true, yes.
Insects, fish. We've obviously done away with it because that's stupid. And you're like, well, no, there's octopus are not a fish. They're their own separate things.
Zootopia
yada, yada.
4 is going to be insects a la a poplar situation. as in Futurama, as in the poplars.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out the bugs are sentient and you shouldn't be eating them, but they're delicious.
No, but that's the thing is, okay, we've done mammals. We've done reptiles.
Yeah.
We're about to do birds.
Yeah.
We've seen that fish aren't there. We've seen that fish aren't sapient, insects aren't sapient. So, are they going to get into, octopus? Because that just seems at that point a little too,
Here's the thing.
Hey,
I think
the first 3 are these big, broad categories. Now we're getting hyper specific. And then, what's 5? Is 5 getting into, hey, what about I think I'm trying other kinds of animals.
Okay, 5 is tardigrades? Why not?
Sure, yeah, tardigrade.
Microorganisms, yeah. Turns out bacteria is sentient and you shouldn't eat those either. They're delicious though. No, so okay. The birds thing. Okay, first things first. The birds thing. As long as they are not doing another plot is hey, turns out racism, and we fix racism. If you just Zootopia 2 could have just been a movie about a fun, like, mystery. Solve that. Not a problem. But it wasn't. It's that they play the racism angle, and that's something. Um, they play the racism / classism angle in Zootopia 2. I should point that out, but they didn't harken the classism thing too much. Mostly race, but I would say that Zootopia 3 just needs to not be about racism. And look, it's fine to put a message in your movie. Like it's good that you're doing that. It's still performative as fuck, but hey, at least somebody's getting a message out there in a wider audience. Great and good. Fine. However, I think the world has had enough. I think we're kind of good on this exact story, because we haven't had just Zootopia and Zootopia 2. It's a lot of other stories out there. A lot of other media has done this kind of thing. And we might be at a point where, like, maybe other things are worth looking into.
No, this film, again, ninth highest gross film. It's not going anywhere, Tristan.
I know. I'm just saying, for the sake of my own sanity, I don't care about anybody else's.
No, Zootopia 3 is going to come out, and you're going to have to watch it 38 times or whatever it was.
I'm not going to. What if Zootopia 3 is... No, I'm not going to. What if Zootopia 3 is about immigration? This one's about immigration now.
I could see it.
Nick and Judy join ICE. And that...
No. Oh, no.
Yeah. And then also the birds join ICE, and like, oh, what else was it gonna do? Not be an immigrant who is about immigration law?
Oh wait, no, you know what? Hear me out.
Psychopaths.
Zootopia 3.
What?
Birds aren't real.
That's pretty good. I actually like that.
Yeah.
That's because that then plays into the thing I was implying, which they should do with the Maltese Falcon, which is a MacGuffin that's not real. I think that's smart. Birds aren't real. Too fucking bad.
They should do it. Anyways, we need to wrap it up, but Disney, call us. We can make you the number one grossed film of all time.
I don't... Yes, why not? I will take your money.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll take it all.
Yeah, oh yeah. I went in those vaults. Yeah. Like the Walt Disney vaults.
I assume that's just where they keep Walt's body.
I want to see it. I want to see the body.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, all right. I think that's fair.
If I don't see the body, he's still alive to me.
Okay, sure. Anyways, why don't you tell people where to find us?
Yeah, we're on Blue Sky, which is at EIFNAR. That's our handle. Go there and tell us how much you are against the Irish immigration scam plot thing. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Do that. However many of those words you got out of that, tell us about that. It's very funny for me, 'cause Irish blood. Anyway, also go and to our iTunes and Spotify pages and listen to our show and rate us something. Go to our YouTube, like and or subscribe. One or the other one. I don't care. I don't care anymore. But both. Actually, you know what? I like both. Like and subscribe to the show. Share it with your friends, because I think the greatest gift you can give your friends is me expounding as to why larger run media like this is a bunch of hokey baloney. Also, just talk about Zootopia 2, because nobody needs to see this movie.
No, don't worry. You'll get to see it all 38 times, Tristan.
No. It was only 32 times, Hassan.
Oh,
first
sorry,
off.
32. Well, we got to increase it because it's the second film.
No.
So each Zootopia,
No.
it's going to go up.
No.
So by the time we get to like Zootopia 7, you'll have to watch it 105 times.
Oh, okay. God, no, I don't want to do that. I hopefully it'll be long, considering they'll hopefully they leave 10 years between sequels, and then I won't have to do that. Anyway, go to our friends at DJDane.com. Let's go to There's Our Music, DJDane.com. Listen to his great tunes, and if you wouldn't mind, just helping him overthrow fascist governments and propaganda. That's all he asks. At least that's what I'm asking. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for their... I'm bad at this. Tune in next time for their Imbrangles episode of Everything's Fine and Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Say it.